If you were to think about a car brand with British heritage that was somewhat affordable in Malaysia, you probably couldn't think of anything. But that is until today, because MG is now in Malaysia and they've brought this in. It's the MG4 EV. So this is an EV hatchback, and if you really want to think about a rival for it, it would be the BYD Dolphin. This comes in 4 variants, so we have the standard, which costs 104,000 ringgit. There's the luxury, which costs 129,000 ringgit. There's the extended range, which costs 149,000 ringgit. And lastly, there's the X Power, which costs 159,000 ringgit. Despite being a hatchback, it does look a bit tall since the belt line is pretty high. If you recall the 2023 Goodwood Festival of Speed, this car was there, albeit called the MG EX4 concept at that time. Now the reason I bring this up is because even with all that aero kit on the concept car, it still is very hard to hide that high belt line. That aside, it does have a lot of elements that help to make it look good. So these LED headlights are pretty sleek. The hood has this dramatic indent. The side profile is dramatic as well. And the rear end, for all variants except for the standard, get this double deck-like design, which feels like it's been inspired by the Escort Cosworth. The wheels are 17 inches in size for the standard variant and 18 inches for the rest. Notice the lack of lug nuts here, and that's because this is an aero cap. It is a different design for the standard and the Lux variants, and the X Power doesn't get aero caps because it wants to show off its orange sport calipers. You get keyless entry for the front doors only, and my favorite thing about the MG4 would be the privacy glass, which is only available for the Lux and above variants. Now this is an EV, so the big question is, does it have a frunk? No, it doesn't. And there's no electric motor here as well, since the first 3 variants of the car are all rear-wheel drive, and the standard makes 170 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. The Lux makes 203 metric horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. The extended range makes 245 horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque, and the X Power makes 435 metric horsepower and 600 Newton meters of torque, and it does 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds, which is 0.1 of a second faster than the smart #1 Brabus. That X Power name may ring a bell to some of you out there because MG used to have this crazy 2-door coupe which was called the MG X Power SV, and it was a rear-wheel drive car with a Ford V8 engine. So that X Power name has a bit of heritage, and it makes sense why this MG4 X Power has some crazy performance figures. If you want the most electric range, get the extended range variant, which has a WLTP range of 520 kilometers. The Lux can do 435 kilometers, the X Power can do 385 kilometers, and lastly the standard can do 350 kilometers on a single charge. All of them do AC charging at 7 kilowatt single phase, so it takes between 8 to 10 hours for a full charge. A plus point for the MG4 would be that it can do 150 kilowatts maximum DC charging, which isn't common for EVs within its price range. This takes between 26 to 38 minutes to go from 10% to 80% state of charge, since all variants have different battery sizes. It is a 51 kilowatt hour battery for the standard, 64 kilowatt hours for the Lux and the X Power, and a 77 kilowatt hour battery for the extended range. Now this is a rather minimalistic cabin in the MG4. It does get a 10.25 inch screen right here for the head unit. It does get Apple CarPlay, it does get Android Auto. It also has its own 360-degree surround view system. Another screen here is the 7-inch digital instrument cluster. The aircon vents are a bit hidden given the design of the dashboard. You get a wireless mobile phone charger here, a rotary gear selector, an electronic parking brake, this fancy storage with a hidden compartment right here. The steering wheel is pretty fancy since it's a 2-spoke design with a flat bottom design as well. And if you look at the steering, you'll notice that ACC is standard for the MG4, but the whole suite of ADAS is not standard. It's only for the top 3 variants. The seats are fabric in the standard, semi-leather in the Lux and the extended range, and the X Power gets this Alcantara-like material. Seat adjustment for the driver is manual. In the standard, it is a 6-way power adjustable one. For the Lux, extended range, and the X Power and the passenger seat are all manually adjustable. Air conditioning is a single zone type, and there are no aircon vents for the rear passengers. Another thing that the rear passengers don't get is an armrest at the center right here. But one thing I can appreciate is the seat pocket design at the back of the front seats, which has 3 compartments, which should help to make your life a bit more organized. Now this is a hatchback, and with that I would say that the space is alright, headroom is pretty good, and legroom is tolerable. There's also no hump in the middle right here, so there's more space for your feet. Included in the price of the car is a 7-year 150,000 kilometer manufacturer warranty and an 8-year 180,000 kilometer high voltage battery warranty. It also comes with a lot of other benefits. Among them is unlimited EV towing should your car go flat in the middle of your journey. For more information on the MG4 EV, head on to AutoBuzz.my.